All right, guys, we got a viewer that asked, and I quote, "Can you make the next video about belts? When to promote, what each belt means, etc. I can't find any video talking about it." Well, that's going to vary from coach to coach. I look at 4 basic pillars and 2 sub-pillars, okay? Number 1, level of knowledge. Number 2, time in. Number 3, how well do they roll with their peers? And number 4, how well do they compete? Okay, so in level of knowledge, they have to know jiu-jitsu. I know a lot of guys that are really good at grappling, but they don't know technique. They couldn't show a basic cross choke or a basic armbar if they had to, right? So in order to level up in jiu-jitsu or any martial art, typically, you have to know the techniques within that martial art. Number 2, time in. That is mat time, hours on the mat. So if somebody trains 7 days a week, twice a day, their mat time is not equal to the guy that trains once a month, even after they've been training a year, okay? So mat time in, how long have they been training with how frequently they train? How well do they actually roll with peers, right? I don't expect the 60-year-old, 120-pound black belt to out-grapple the, 300-pound, 20-year-old blue belt, right? But how well do you train with your peers? Can you do jiu-jitsu and successfully do it at a level appropriate to that rank? And then how well do you compete? And I'll tell you, that is usually a make or break thing. So somebody who doesn't compete or doesn't compete well, maybe, the other 3 pillars have to be a little stronger. But if you're a phenomenal competitor, you just go out and you win every tournament, you're plowing through everybody all the time, you can slack a little bit on the technique, right? You can maybe get promoted a little faster than somebody that's training the same amount as you, but not doing as well in tournaments, okay? And then the other 2 pillars, 5 and 6, are continual improvement, okay? As we get older, our bodies start deteriorating, right? But you can always improve your jiu-jitsu. You can improve your understanding of fundamentals. You can learn new techniques, and you can always be getting more technically proficient. And then just moral compass, okay? I've always had a really great group of people that train at my academy and in my affiliation. So I look at, are you a decent, honest, hardworking person? If not, you're probably not gonna fit in at my gym and you're not gonna be one of my affiliates. With that said, it's really on your instructor. Each instructor has their own criteria of how they promote, what they look at. Some like to see something across the board with all their students. I promote each student individually. Some students are phenomenal at everything. Some are on a much slower path. My own personal journey, when I was a white belt, I spent a lot of time focusing on fundamentals. Once I got my blue, I continued focusing on very fundamental positions, just learning all the little tiny technical intricacies that go with each technique. I did a lot of competing. I competed a lot as far as, what was available back then. My purple belt is when I started kind of throwing in the fancier moves and really kind of opening my game up. And then at brown belt, I almost went the opposite way. I learned more wrestling style, more just smash and just, that grindy jiu-jitsu style. And now at black belt, I play, right? It's funny because you'll find I did this from guard at blue belt, but then I did it standing at purple, but then I did it from passing guard at brown. And now that I'm a black belt, I'm using this one position from everything, right? So black belt, it's been just taking everything I've done before, expanding on it, making the things I already know better. But yeah, each person is just kind of on their own individual path, and really, I think that's up to your instructor. And I always tell guys, talk to your instructor about it. Now, don't ever just go and be like, when do I get promoted or how do I get promoted? But I love when people come to me and they go, hey, coach, what can I work on? What would you like to see from me? Not necessarily even to advance in rank, but just on your own personal journey in jiu-jitsu, right? So sometimes I'm going to be like, hey, you're great at guard work. Let's start playing top. Or, hey, you're a guard puller. Let's do some wrestling. Let's learn some takedowns. Usually, pretty simple. Whatever you're really good at, stay good at that, but get better at the opposite end, right? If you're a great guard player, be a good guard passer. If you're a great guard passer, be a good guard player. If you're a wrestler, learn to pull and play from bottom. But again, all of that up to your coach. They have what they want to see from you. They have their own criteria for promotions, and I would just be very open and ask questions.